London is an amazing city. We have more than 320 languages spoken, so almost all the world is present in London. And preaching to Londoners is preaching to the world.
We have this wonderful, rich history of what the gospel has done in London, and so it's wonderful. You can walk around London's landmarks and think of some of the significant times like the evangelical revival in London, Whitfield and Wesley. But today, most of the churches and the networks and denominations tend to operate in their own lanes, and collaboration is pretty scarce. London on a kind of religious level can be quite political. So people are concerned about the good of the city, but they generally try to impact that and influence that through their own specific actions. So I think there's a need to try to bring people together under a united vision and see that we can do more together than we can apart, I think.
Churches in one area might have an expertise on one aspect of ministry, which could help some other churches in the other part of the city. So to create that awareness.
I think what's been really encouraging is that there is a real appetite for collaboration, kind of understanding that no network or no church is going to do this on their own.
So again, as we've said, Lord, how could we play a part in building a super diverse gospel movement in a super diverse city? God seems to have answered it by bringing bridge builders from those different communities into the London project through the work of Caroline and through the work of Germa in particular.
It's a different experience, a different voice, but with the same heart and the same vision and the same desire to see a citywide collaboration.
How do we have that gospel generosity, but also focus on the gospel as well?
So it's as broad as the gospel-centered church is broad, ethnically broad, socio-demographically broad, ecclesiologically broad. So we want to be really clear on what the gospel is for all the churches and the networks and the denominations who are excited about the biblical gospel, then to be involving them to work together and to collaborate for the good of the city. Of course, keeping church planting at the center of it, but a wider gospel ecosystem that spins off into other areas like work and faith and serving the city and city labs and preaching classes and things like that.
We want this to be a network that brings glory to God by bringing Christians from different tribes, nations and tongues together for the good of the city and to plant more churches. I need other church leaders to teach me and to train me and to help me to see where I'm weak, where I'm not getting it, and how I can learn from others. Both a theological generosity and a diversity of ethnicity within the project that can say, there are things I see about London that you don't see because you can't see it quite through my eyes. We want to start new churches, we want to serve existing churches, and we want to strengthen gospel churches.
Our vision is for the city, not for the church in the city. The church is there to serve the city.
The whole city being transformed by the gospel. Can London be the most gospel-centered city in the world?
That desire to put the needs of the city ahead of my own is born out in Paul's willingness to be all things to all people. And that's what's bringing us together. I think that's the glue in the relationship between those who've said yes to the London project, that actually we need each other if we're going to be effective here. And so let's put each other's interests ahead of our own.